Okay, hello you beautiful people, welcome back. In this update, we're going to check out Avalanche's price chart and I'm going to tell you why in the short term, there is a chance that we're going to have a bit of a move on the upside, but there are some very key points in the short term price action that I'm about to share with you. But before we get into all that, as per usual, at the beginning of each AVAX video, we are going to talk about some fundamentals. And in this update, specifically, I want to talk about three important metrics. The first one is this thing right in here, transactions. And as you can see, it seems like that basically in the last couple of months, in terms of numbers of transactions, seems like that we are seeing a very beautiful steady uptrend. And I do think this is actually sustainable. Now, the numbers in here are indeed up. For example, let's say relative to 6 months ago, we had about, let's say somewhere around 600 to 700% increase in transactions. It's great, but here's the deal. Overall, when you compare Avalanche's C chain to a lot of other chains, for example, Polygon, even this recent all-time high, which is around, I believe, 3.5 million transactions per day, is not necessarily that much of a big deal. Why? Because I think it was about 48 hours ago that in terms of daily transaction counts in Polygon, we broke the record and we had in one day, again, in one day, 8.4 million transactions, which is awesome. And when you compare the market cap of Polygon, which I think it's somewhere around the rank 50th in terms of market cap, and you compare it to Avalanche, which I think is within the top 20, okay, this doesn't necessarily look good. However, I do think the trend overall is going to be bullish from this point also moving forward. And hopefully in the next maybe 6 months to about a year, we are going to beat Polygon in terms of the transactions. And again, all I do care about is the trend. Now, why do I think this trend is indeed sustainable? That one actually comes down to this important metric, active users, because as you can see, for the last couple of months, basically, let's say for the last year, we have been around, let's say 500,000 active addresses, but in the last basically 45 days, we have seen a beautiful increase in this important metric. And now we are having in each day roughly around 1.5 million active addresses. And I was actually waiting a little bit more to see, is this right in here an accident or not? But if I just zoom in, as you can see, no, the numbers are indeed sustainable. So I do think from this point moving forward, this is going to be the bottom for us. And if you are having more and more active addresses each day, essentially you are going to have also, on the other hand, more and more transactions, meaning what? Again, this uptrend in transaction count, in my view, is going to be absolutely sustainable. And we are going to hopefully in the next 6 months to about a year see like much better numbers. So fundamental wise, again, it seems like that in Avalanche, specifically in this case the C chain, we are looking pretty bullish. But when it comes to the live chart, the story is a little bit different. Why is that? Because if you remember the last time that we talked about AVAX, we were, I think, somewhere around these areas, and the idea was that, okay, odds are this whole move is just a correction structure, at least according to our primary case, suggesting in AVAX the bottom is not in yet. And at one point there's a decent argument to be made that we are going to unfortunately get a move down and visit the lows in here once more, about, let's say, $7.5 region, or maybe, God forbid, we are going to take the lows and go quite a bit lower. Is that a guarantee? No. In fact, we do have one bullish possibility, and in order to show it to you guys, let's go on a less busy chart. There we go. You see, the bullish count now suggests maybe this is going to be a wave 1, this is a wave 2, and then big move up into wave 3, 4, 5, which on a higher degree, it's going to be into this beautiful wave 3, and then correction for 4, another move into wave 5. So I'm trying to basically show this to you in the interest of remaining 100% objective. And I'm trying to say, look, if in Avalanche truly the bottom is in, number one, this move on the upside in AVAX has to accelerate quite a bit, and in it we have to bare minimum take this important previous major pivot high, about, let's say, $10.3. And if we get this, okay, at that point I am going to change my tone a little bit. On the other hand, number two, you do not want to see from here a move down in order to take this very, very important low about, let's say, $8.4 in Avalanche, because that is going to be a bit of a bearish sign, unfortunately, suggesting, yeah, you know what, maybe our move down is going to continue, and maybe once more we are going to visit the lows in here. Now, let's just zoom in a little bit more, and let's actually go back on our own chart. No, let's zoom in here. You see, I think we can all sort of kind of agree that this seems to be just a three-wave movement, either an ABC or maybe a WXY. Honestly, the shape of it doesn't really matter, and it sort of kind of got confirmed the moment that we got this move on the upside, and in it we took these important highs. So this suggests maybe from these areas, possibly even a bit lower, we are going to have yet another move on the upside in order to take maybe this important high for the first target, about $9.7, and maybe even if we are lucky, we are going to go quite a bit higher than that. Now, if we are truly going to get this thing, at that point, I'm willing to bet everybody and their mothers are going to talk about a possible beautiful head and shoulder structure like this. Why am I telling you this is a possible head and shoulder? Because at the moment, at least, this isn't really confirmed yet. You see, if you want to say this head and shoulder is indeed confirmed and it is going to send us up, okay, fair enough. Then you need to see a beautiful confirmed break of the neckline, okay? What do I mean by a confirmed break? I mean, we go above it, do a slow and choppy pullback, and then have yet another move on the upside. And the moment that in this phase, we take this important high, at that point, you can say, okay, fair enough, this head and shoulder is confirmed, and maybe it is going to send us up to where, okay, you need to put your chart on regular scale and then measure the height of your pattern from here to about the highs and put this thing as your breaking point. This is giving you a target of about, let's say, $12 area. Now, here's a question. Let's say, okay, I am wrong going according to my primary scenario, suggesting the bottom is not in yet, and from here we are going to indeed confirm this head and shoulder. Then makes sense to argue right in here, at least from my POV. I don't know about you guys. Whatever idea that you are having, I absolutely respect it, but from my POV, makes sense to argue this is a long opportunity, right? Unfortunately, no. Why is that? Because I think you actually saw it at the beginning of the video. Let's go back on our own chart. Okay, what do we have in here when it comes to classic TA? Right above our head and shoulder, right above our possible head and shoulder, we are having this beautiful, now unfortunately, resistance area between 10.2 to about $11.2 region. And guess what? Under a resistance, I really do not want to go long, because I do think there's a very high chance my stop loss is going to get hit. So let me just tell you this. Even if we are going to have another move on the upside, number one, I'm not going to go long in here, and number two, I'm going to have my eyes on this whole important level and see, are we going to successfully reclaim it or not? If we are going to reclaim it, and by that, you know it, we go above it, do a pullback, and then have another move on the upside. If we are going to do something like this, okay, that is going to change a whole lot of stuff. Just confirming a possible head and shoulder, I do not believe that, especially because it's happening under this important level, is going to guarantee a whole lot, and it is going to send us up. I think as long as we are staying under this important level in AVAX, maybe it's best to think more about taking short positions as opposed to long. And the moment that we end up reclaiming this level, okay, at that point, that's going to be a whole different story. For those of you who are like me, who are fundamental investors and believe in the fundamentals of Avalanche, okay, any kind of dip for somebody like you and me should be a beautiful buy opportunity in order to get our average purchase as low as possible, and in the mid to long term, not necessarily the short term, because honestly I don't necessarily think this looks optimistic, but in the mid to long term, hopefully we are going to make a whole lot of money by just simply buy the dips and sell the rips. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Avalanche's chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.